Hello and welcome to my darkened studio. I thank you for viewing this video. This is going to be kind of an intro video to me and also the Zoom meeting that we're going to be doing next week. For those of you who are going to be starting here at Wilmington in the fall here it's going to be about a month. Oh my goodness, it's coming up pretty darn quick. The summer has flown by. It has been warm. But it's been a good summer, I think. I don't know. I'm probably going to ramble a little bit through this, so I apologize. But again, I wanted to just do kind of an intro to next week and a little bit more of a background about me, touch a little bit about the major, as well as maybe going into, some advice for what's going on. I think there's something going on in society right now. I can't remember what it is, but I have the notes in front of me. I think maybe I'll remember what it is. Gotta laugh. Sometimes you gotta at least have some type of humor. It helps to relieve some stress. So, all right. And I have a lot of humor. Trust me on that. And also, I apologize for if others see any bugs flying around. The lights tend to attract some of the nastiest little bugs that fly around in front of my face and land on me every once in a while. But anyway, again, I thank you for tuning into this. Wanted to introduce myself somewhat briefly, but maybe a little bit more detail than I'll give next week. So who am I? I am Dr. Matthew Vern Bliss. Vern is actually my great-grandfather's name, so I tend to enjoy that name. I use it to my advantage sometimes. In fact, I may even be using it in a podcast that I'm going to be doing sometime, and I might talk about that sometime during the semester. But anyway, you can call me Matt, you can call me Matthew, you can call me Vern, you can call me Bliss. Here at Wilmington, we go by first names, the Quaker way, if you will. You may have already heard that. So we don't tend to use the doctor or professor or Mr. Mrs. type of naming. We usually just go by first names. So the professor's on a first name basis with the students and vice versa. So I grew up in a small town in Western Pennsylvania. Sometimes I refer to it as West Pennsylvania, and we have our own language. But I grew up hunting. Basically, my nearest neighbor was either a cow or a deer, depending upon what time of day it was. I grew up hunting. Love archery. My shirt here is actually an archery t-shirt. I have a Matthews hat on. If you don't know anything about archery, Matthews is a bow company. So I do some competitions. I hunt. And I was involved in sports in high school as well. Didn't play any sports in college, a little intramural softball type of stuff, but that was about it. I was a photographer for a little period of time while I was in grad school at Kent State, which I'll get into here in a little bit. And somewhat of a fun fact about me. You always talk about fun facts. Every time we go around a room and we try to bring up, who we are, where we came from, there's always a fun fact that everyone wants to share. So my fun fact is I was really interested in model rockets when I was young. I had dozens of them, shot them off in the backyard, and still interested in that type of stuff. I read a lot of stuff on space and the universe and the cosmos and all that stuff. So that's kind of my thing, at least hobby-wise, spare time, which there's been some of it, some spare time lately. As I got further along in high school, and then even after high school, after I graduated, shortly after, I became interested in maybe doing some bodybuilding type of training. I wasn't necessarily going to compete so much, but I trained like a bodybuilder. I was taking supplements and doing all these workouts that other people said were good. And I started to learn about the human body, a little bit about nutrition and physiology. I didn't quite understand it, but I wanted to learn more about it. And I had already applied and was accepted and was planning on going to Mansfield University of Pennsylvania. My initial major was math education. So there you go. I could have been a math teacher, but I wasn't sure about that. So I went ahead and declared undecided during my orientation. And then during my first year, I took some extra classes that really helped me determine what I wanted to do. One of them was nutrition class. It was a personal nutrition class. I really fell in love with learning about the body, nutrition, physiology, and just how the body works and how it responds to physical activity and different stresses on the body. So that's where I became interested in that field. Then I applied to Kent State. Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. When I was an undergrad, I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I said, well, I'm going to go to a general graduate program in the field that I want to be in, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do yet. I thought maybe strength and conditioning coach, but I went to Kent State and was in the Masters of Exercise Physiology program. And I really enjoyed that. And I also worked hard enough through participating in some research studies and helping out with them, a graduate assistantship. I began teaching. And then that's kind of where I started to say, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or at least for a living. So I focused on teaching. There's a little bit of research in there as well. I graduated with my master's in exercise physiology from Kent State, and then did my PhD at Kent State as well in exercise physiology. From there, I got a job at Texas A&M Kingsville. If you don't know where Kingsville is, it's way down south. It's like way in the southern portion of Texas. To give you an idea, it took me about 7 hours, maybe 8 hours to actually get out of Texas when I was driving back up here to PA, or back up this way to the Northeast in the PA on a couple occasions. But I was down south for a little bit of time. I taught a lot of classes at Texas A&M Kingsville at what we refer to as TAMUK. Spent 4 years there teaching classes, exercise physiology at the undergraduate and the graduate level. Taught the graduate course in person and online. So I do have some experience online teaching. I taught a graduate course in nutrition, taught intro to exercise science, taught a graduate course in exercise physiology, taught a medical terminology course, which was online, and then also taught exercise in chronic disease. So looking at how exercise can help people who have a chronic disease or some type of condition, and what the parameters are, what the best practices are for somebody who maybe has diabetes, they're obese, they have cancer, whatever ails them, and how exercise can help alleviate at least some of the symptoms of that. And then from there, my wife and I were planning on at some point moving back closer to home, because we did miss family. Sometimes, I mean, you miss family, and we weren't seeing them that often. So there was a job posting that was very interesting. It was like they took my resume and put it into a description of the job that they had posted, and that was Wilmington. So I applied to it, got the position, and moved up here in 2017. And so this is my 4th year here at Wilmington, starting my 4th year. I just finished up my 3rd year teaching at Wilmington. So I am the director for the exercise science program and have been since then. And I'm kind of the only professor in the exercise science program itself. So I'm the director. I'm kind of the end all be all, kind of. There are other faculty that help out, and we help each other out as well in the different fields. And actually, I'll get into that here in a second. But anything that has an abbreviation, any of the courses that have an abbreviation of XS, I'm going to be teaching, except for one, and that is kinesiology. If you look through the program, kinesiology is XS. I can't even think of what it is now. I should have looked it up. Three something. Oh my goodness. I'm going to draw some hate mail for that, I guess. I don't know. Do we even have hate mail anymore? Probably should have looked that up before I started this, but I don't teach the kinesiology course, but I do teach an AT course, an AT abbreviated course, AT 355, which is the physiology of exercise. Now, the exercise science program has three different tracks to it: the sport performance, allied health, and then also the pre-AT, the pre-athletic training track. The sport performance is for someone who wants to get personal training and strict conditioning certifications. And you may already know this, but just to kind of reiterate, just in case, maybe you're having some change of thoughts potentially, or maybe have different interests. The allied health is for the health fields, so which kind of makes somewhat sense. PT, physical therapy and occupational therapy, any nutrition, and any graduate schools in those particular fields or professional schools in those fields. Then the AT is specifically, or the athletic training, the pre-AT is specifically designed for our accelerated or our master's AT program here, or I guess kind of any AT program. So if you are wanting to change at some point to go into the AT program, you can do that. There's actually an accelerated path for the AT, and if you want to get more information about that, the individuals you want to talk to would be Jen or Brett. Brett would be the main person to talk to about potentially changing, or maybe if you have some ideas about maybe potentially going for AT in the future. The classes are set up to where we try to have as much lab and practical stuff and experience as we possibly can with the equipment that we have, and we're looking to get more equipment and expand laboratory possibilities. It might be a little bit strange moving forward, at least this semester, maybe even in the spring semester, depending upon how long this COVID thing lasts, with social distancing and masks and cleaning and all that stuff with labs and practical stuff. But we're going to do it. We're going to get through it, and it'll be perfectly fine. So I've already tried to work out how I'm going to be doing it for a couple different classes, and also the intro class as well. There's a couple activities that I want to do, and we're going to figure that out as we go. We can easily do it outside and be spread way apart to actually be doing some of these activities. So it'll be perfectly fine for that class. Now for the fall semester, bringing up classes, most, if not all, your classes are going to be face-to-face, at least at this point. And that's what we're planning. There may be a few in there that are either fully online, or they could be a hybrid or a high flex system. And so the face-to-face is a normal lecture class. You're coming to class, you're going to be there every day, or you're supposed to be there every day, depending upon if you show up, because some people, they might sleep in, they might be sick, whatever it may be. So face-to-face is actually being there in person every day. Online is just online. It's whatever it might be, either synchronized Zoom meetings or desynchronized kind of courses. And then there is a high flex, which is kind of a hybrid course. But how this works, a traditional hybrid course is you are in class sometime and you are out of class online sometime. So about half and half. Sometimes it's split up differently, maybe 60-40, depending upon what the requirements are for that particular institution. This high flex is a little bit different in that there is an online component, but it is synchronized with the class. So if you are in Intro to Exercise Science, this is how this class is going to work in the fall, because we don't have enough room to spread everyone out within the classes. And the classes they're fairly large for our campus, because they are an intro class. And we have a lot of students within the major, between exercise science and the pre-AT. So the high flex is you will come to class one day and half of the class is going to be viewing me teaching inside the classroom through a camera and all that stuff in the classroom, online through Zoom. I think we're going to be using Zoom. And then the next class day, if you were there in class, you will be watching it online, and the people that were watching it online the previous day will come into class. So it's a little bit different, but we're going to try to make it work. I think it's kind of exciting. I mean, the technology has been around quite a while, actually. I remember back in, I think it was 2003. It's a long, long time ago. 2003, I was an undergraduate at Mansfield, and I had a professor that was doing something like that with one of her classes because there was students at another institution that wanted to listen in on her talks during lecture. So the technology's been around a while, and it's been employed by a lot of different institutions. It's maybe not the preferred method, but it's still maybe better than nothing, really. So, all right, so I'm going to be going into a video here shortly. This is a sample schedule. It may actually be your schedule. I actually took a schedule and just blacked out the name and went through the different pieces of it. And just so, in case you have not ever seen a schedule or you haven't viewed your schedule yet, now when we meet next week during the Zoom meeting, if you need to change anything about your schedule, that's not the time we're going to be doing it. You need to contact me either from now until next Wednesday, or we can do it afterward, and we can set up private Zoom meetings, phone calls, whatever we need to do to get you set up to change classes around, or potentially if you want to change your major. I mean, sometimes that happens as well. Make a big change. I did that. So it's perfectly fine. So this is just a sample schedule. I'm going to go through it, and then I'll be back on the flip side to talk to you here in a little bit. This is a screenshot of a student schedule. This, in fact, may be yours, but I did black out the information. That way we can keep it anonymous. Now, this might look slightly different when you log into it because this is the faculty version of it. So it might look a little bit different, especially the menus here off to the side and up at the top, but the schedule should look pretty similar. Just make sure that you have fall 2020 selected. Now, again, this is an example of a student schedule. Some of the classes may be a little bit different for you, but the information is going to be the same. So off here on the left-hand column, this is going to be the course code. So, for example, biology is BI 203, and M1 means section 1. That the M actually stands for main campus. So section 1 for each of those two, including the lab, and the labs are going to be designated with an L at the end as well. And then we have the name or the title of the class itself. We have the amount of credits that it is worth per semester. And then this column is referencing the lecture style course. And I'll get into some of that here afterward in a second, because some of this may be changing somewhat. And then we have the days and the times that these classes will take place. T stands for Tuesday and R stands for Thursday. So this human biology is on Tuesday and Thursday at 9:40 to 10:45 a.m. And here are the dates that this will take place. So it's the whole semester. So this class, BI 203L, which is the human biology lab in this case, is going to be only on Mondays, 1:10 to 4 p.m. And this writing is Tuesday, Thursday. And then M and W would mean Monday and Wednesday. Then we get another Tuesday and Thursday. And then at the bottom for the introduction to exercise science, we have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that class is going to meet every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. Now here's where some of the differences come into play with the dates, 8/24 to 10/13. If you look, this intro to exercise science is actually a 2-credit course. Anything that is a 2-credit course is likely to be half a semester. So the first half of the semester, we're going to meet for intro to exercise science, but the second half of the semester, we will not meet during those times. And on this schedule, another example of that would be the first year experience class. Now off to the right on this column, we have where the room is, and most of them are going to be main campus. And we have the abbreviations for the buildings. CSA is a science building, then Kelly, more science building, and then CSS is the Center for Sports Sciences. And then we have the room number then after that. At the very bottom, we have the total amount of hours or credit hours. So if you would add up this column, it would equal 15 then. So again, just an example of a schedule. It should look similar to what you have. It probably isn't going to be exactly the same unless this is your schedule. But again, all the different pieces of information are exactly the same. Okay, we good on schedules now? All right, we can move forward. Now, if you have any questions about it, please do not hesitate to ask me. In fact, at any point in time, from now until next Wednesday or after, at any point in the semester, don't hesitate to contact me. Email is probably the best method to get in contact with me. Please give me about 24 hours to respond. If I do not respond within 24 hours, something probably happened. Either I missed it, maybe I deleted it on accident. It happens. Contact me again and say, hey, I sent you an email, just wondering about whatever it is. So please just contact me if you have any questions. And the same goes for any other professor. We're here to help you if you have any issues, any questions about anything. So check your emails often. Put your university or the college email on your phone. Try to use the college email. Sometimes, depending upon how the phone is set up, it sends it off as maybe a different email address, and that's fine. But try to be as diligent as possible to use the college email, the Wilmington email that you are provided. Another topic I want to get into is office hours for the fall. If you don't know, traditional office hours in college means that a professor is going to be in their office at a set time during certain days. I think we have about 5 or 6 hours that we need to be in our offices per week available for you. It's open door. Most professors have an open door policy anyway. If their door is open, it doesn't matter whether they have office hours or not. Just come on in. However, because of the things that are going on, we may be limiting the amount of people that are allowed in certain offices because basically the offices are somewhat small. So it might be tough to social distance but we'll kind of see what happens here in another month and a half. But we may be given the option for virtual office hours, meaning that we will be available for emails, phone calls, Zoom meetings, whatever we need to do to meet with you during that period of time, that set period of time, in addition to maybe before class or after class or any other time that might not fit your schedule and jive with the office hours that are set. So just make an appointment, email the professor, email me, and we'll try to set something up if you need to talk about something. If you have any general questions, again, don't hesitate to ask. Just ask them. Available anytime. I am up. In fact, this is, oh my goodness, it's 20 after 12, which sounds late, but I'm probably going to be up until the sun rises. So I'm up during the night, and I am a night owl. In fact, you've probably never seen me or Batman in the same spot. A little heads up there. I'm a goofball, so you'll learn that quickly if you haven't already noticed it. Some closing statements that I want to kind of make about what's going on. The events since March, I guess February, March, have been unconventional and are really the antithesis of our customary behavior. It's different. It's much different. And nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. No scientist knows, no politician knows, nobody really knows what's going to be happening. We're going to be going through this all together, and we have to be able to adapt. In fact, there's a famous quote by Charles Darwin when he was looking at the evolution. It is not the strongest of the species that survives or the ones that are the most intelligent, but it's the ones that are most responsive to change. Meaning it doesn't matter how much money you have, how smart you are. If you're able to adapt to the surroundings, that's how we move forward. That's how we get to the other side. So we've been adapting for thousands of years due to acute changes, possibly chronic changes in our families, in our communities, our society, our environment as a whole, the planet, whatever it may be. Now, we may struggle at times through certain lows, but science, data, research, and also the human perseverance is actually going to propel us forward through these low points and through these downtimes, just like Voyager 2, rushing past the gravitational grips of our extraordinarily ordinary solar system. Was that deep enough for you? See, this is what happens when somebody stays up late. Anyway, I hope that has a little bit of has some words of wisdom that resonates with you. I know it resonated with me when I made it up about an hour or so ago. But again, we can get through this. We're going to have a good time this fall semester. We're going to have fun in class, however we do it. Whether it's online, face-to-face, we're going to be in face-to-face. But if we have to potentially move online for whatever reason, high flex, we're going to have some fun. We're going to try to do as many practical labs as possible. And we may have some weird things that we have to do, strange, extraordinary things, I guess, that are wearing masks, social distancing. We could have to be cleaning a little bit extra, washing our hands, possibly wearing gloves, depending upon what the labs potentially may be. Maybe not so much in the intro to exercise science, because we should be able to spread out enough. But some of your other classes, you may experience some of that. But hey, you got to be staying positive about all this through all the negativity that has gone on with what's happening in the past, almost 6 months now or so. I never know how to end these. I just want to say thank you for watching. I'm glad that you are going to be a part of the Wilmington community. I can't wait to see you in class. On campus, we are dying to see people on campus and see some type of normalcy, even though, again, we may have some quirks to it. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you hopefully next week.